Okay, this is a video for the Focal Utopia. This is a flagship level headphone. It costs a lot of money. It's the most beautiful that I've ever seen. Of headphones that I purchased in my life, it's the most beautiful. Its stance, its angles, its posture, its look, its balance in hand. Balance, I'd give that to the Susvara. That is amazing. I'll review that later, but that thing is just so perfect when you hold it. This is close to that, though. It's a beautiful design. That's their patented, I believe, driver system. That's the outer frame support. That's the surround right here. This is the pure beryllium M-shaped driver, which is their original voice coil magnet. It looks kind of like the stuff that they do with car audio. It's very familiar to me, the way that it's designed. These are both open back. These are both 40 millimeter. The main difference between the two of them is the metals that they're using on the driver. This is not like a PET derivative like you would get from Coca-Cola bottle, which is essentially what the cheap drivers are. They're kind of basically a cousin of that. These are metal drivers. I'm sure that this is beryllium pure, and I'm pretty sure this is a magnesium aluminum combo. There's no mylar level inside of it. So that's the driver. This is the earphone right here. This is $39.90. You could probably get it for a better price. The Focal Clears for about $1,500. I'll get right to it and say that if I were to recommend one or the other, I'm going to recommend the Clear because I'm just a huge fan of it. I'll explain what I think the differences are. Let me get into that real quick. So that's the driver. That's a close-up look. It's just a stunner in its looks. That's the inside look at the cup. You can see the M-shaped driver right there. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Amazing. I'll go over this very quickly. The mids, I think, are basically a wash listening to my library. Mids are mostly evaluated using Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing, Fleetwood Mac, Go Your Own Way, Dreams, Secondhand News, Stevie Nicks, Christy McVie, Mick Fleetwood. God, what's the dude's name? No. Am I going to have to... Lindsey Buckingham. Holy crap. Lindsey Buckingham, he's actually my favorite. You've got two male singers and two female singers, and there's a lot of time where there's a chorus and then there's the main, and they're going over the same, and there's also a bass line and drums, and the amount of deterioration or quality of those vocals based on the tuning and also the quality of the driver and the configuration of what you listen to really can shine through with that album. I can't use that album because it'll be blocked worldwide. But one of the examples that I'm going to cite real quickly is Fleetwood Mac Dreams at the beginning. Here you go again, you say, you want your freedom, eat 'em. That part where she says that was the first indication that I thought, these are different. These are different, and the more that I listen, the more I realize that I think the Clear is more tuned towards me without sacrificing a single micro detail, because I'm all about that. I'm all about timestamps. Black Sabbath Sweet Leaf from 2-minute 30-second on. The drum play, I'd always associate beryllium as doing that better and cleaner and having more control. It's a metal driver, but so is this, and I think that this is doing that better. Cymbal strikes on Can't Find My Way Home, 27 seconds. Sounds better sounds more natural and authentic on the Clear than it does on the Utopia. Let me go ahead and get back to this real quick. So I think the treble on the Clear is better because it lacks that sharp edge that the Utopia. You might want that, but with my library, I don't think so. I think the stage of the Utopia, these are both large in their stage, so I would maybe change that. They're both open back. They're both 40 millimeter drivers. They're both metal drivers. I think they both have great stage. There's something about the way that the Utopia plays back that makes it sound like it's maybe a little larger. Resolution, can't tell the difference. Tonality, the Clear is clearly, no pun intended, more towards me and my library. Basses are clear and resolved very well. Drums, vocals, they never get in the way of each other. The tonality of the Clear is more appealing to myself. The value, of course, is going to be the Clear because it's half the price or more than that. I think the basses, I'll get into a demo of that. So in every way, except stage, I think I would take the Clear, which I'm telling you that I think this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I'm totally happy that I've got it. I'm going to probably move on from it and get another Focal, but I would recommend that you get the Clear. Does that make any sense? Just a reminder of my library: AC/DC, Alice in Chains, Badfinger, The Beatles, Black Sabbath, Bob Marley. I won't keep going on and on, but if you watch my video, but there's Boston, a lot of Cheap Trick, Dire Straits. Let me go ahead and get into the first. The bassist on Dire Straits. Let me go ahead and grab these and put it on my head when I'm listening. The bassist on Dire Straits, if you visualize the virtual stage when you're listening, you always kind of put the vocalist center slightly forward. Maybe the bassist is on your left. If you visualize the stage, when you usually go, the bassist is maybe probably on the left. The guitarist is on the right at the beginning, then maybe crosses around. The bassist normally, in regular replay with good speakers and with stuff that I'm a fan of and in-ear monitors, sounds like he's really pinning down the track. He's the backbone of it, and I've said that several times in several videos. And he does that on the clear, and on the Utopia he doesn't actually. He sounds a little bit back and a little fuzzy. That's not the word to use for a $4,000 set, but compared to the clear. Did they call this the clear because it's clear? That sounds so fucked up to say. Maybe they did that on purpose. I don't know. But the bass line sounds better on that set than it does on this, and I'll give you a demonstration. Dire Straits. Sultans of Swing. Guitar solo. I don't want that one. I want the regular one. Okay. Focus on the bass line, please.
The rhythm, he doesn't want to make it cry or sing. If an old guitar is all he can afford.
Okay, using that track, the bassist doesn't sound as... This is puzzling to me, because as much as I'm a fan of this, I prefer the bass replay of that, and this is a pure beryllium set. But saying that out loud on this video, I realized that the A8000, the IM, the Dunu Luna, I've only the Believe by a much cheaper set by a small Chinese company I've ever heard of pure beryllium, and that's in question for that set still, because who can't trust it, and who knows. Most often the pure beryllium sets are not doing it for me, and this would be another case of that. And I did not see this coming. So I think that bass line actually sounds better on this, and you're thinking, well, that's, you know, Mark's voice and the famous guitar. The bass is what that sample is for, pretty much, and it doesn't sound as good on the Utopia as it does on this. It sounds more clear, sounds more realistic, sounds like he's stepped just behind Mark, whereas on this set he sounds just even a little bit further back, which is not ideal for me. So this bass, if I looked at the graph and recall correctly, I think it's about the same, but it doesn't sound like that to me. I can't quite get my mind around that one. Maybe you can comment in the listening section. I don't know. There's an analytical quality to the Utopia that's kind of not exciting, but sharp. Not sure really how to put that. Mids, like I said, not really having an issue. I'm going to do another sample real quick. It's going to be the Rolling Stones' Gimme Shelter. This is really sharp, and like I said, for Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, female voice, the edge, the overtones of the vocals, and the graph that I saw real quick compared, I looked at Critical, I did a double, checked them. I can't see what it is. I have no idea. But this is an example of another slightly overly emphasized female voice. Not ideal for this set. I used, as I mentioned in the unboxing, when I compared these two, I used this, finally starting to use it because I got headphones, listen to a test tone that I have, play it until I get the same volume coming out of the same spot, and listening. So when I'm comparing these two sets, they are performing at the same volume level as measured by that device. So I'm it's not that this is being turned up on the ADI 2 DAC. It's not that the ADI 2 DAC can't handle this. That's got plenty of power to do the Utopia. It's the replay. And those two examples I just showed you, one, the bassist is slightly back, and the other, female vocals. I can't do the Fleetwood Mac demo because this video wouldn't be viewable. One more audio sample I'm going to give you real quick, and this is also going to be the same song, Sultans of Swing, but it's highlighting a portion of the guitar solo, which is usually not something that gets on people. Like I just did the Eddie Van Halen Eruption. Like that's something that can get on people, you know, but it's limited, and then it's going to go into You Really Got Me. So it's you waiting for it, enjoying it, but it's not something you wouldn't listen to 5 minutes of that solo on certain gear, and this wouldn't be one of them, but I don't need to go with that one. I'll go ahead and do the same track real quick. So again, this is Sultans of Swing, but this is a different cutout of it. As I'm listening to that and thinking, because I don't really script myself except to hit the points that I'm trying to make, it's something in the overtones. It's not like fundamental level stuff, though the bass play on the previous sample, I don't know. I actually really can't explain it. I won't do any more audio samples because I made my point. Also, it sounds... does Hendrix. Also, Eddie Van Halen, like I mentioned, and also Hendrix, there's basically 3 solos and All Along the Watchtower, the cover of the Bob Dylan track. It does the same thing. The Utopia over-emphasizes, and yet when looking at a graph of these two, I'm not picking a spot like I could on an IEM and saying, well, there's your problem, and then focus on it on a spectrogram and say, there we go. Why am I not using a spectrogram today? Because on IEMs, I have high confidence with what I'm doing, and then I can go ahead and demonstrate that right for you. I can show you, cut out a certain frequency bandwidth between 5,000 and whatever, and then show it to you. When I look at a headphone graph, I don't have as much experience with that, so I can't say, there it is, here it is, chop it up, put it up there. Let's take a look at that. I'm still getting my feet under me when it comes to audio gear, so I'm getting the Susvara and other stuff so I can understand what it is people are talking about when they're saying that something's on another level. And I'm not disagreeing with them. Well, I guess I am, kind of, because I'm saying that the Clear is the best Focal that I've heard so far. And if you bought the set and you love it and you think, I'm not spending more money, I'm not chasing, you know, that dragon, you don't need to. It's a beautiful set. I've never seen anything that looks as beautiful as it. Its stance, its profile. It's like a fucking muscle car. It's dope. It is great at music, but under critical evaluation, using my ears and my library, I clearly... Fuck, I keep saying that and I apologize. I clearly keep preferring the Clear. So, for its price, it's absolutely outstanding. I don't know the community around it because I'm just getting into headphones, but fucking very impressive. Very much wow. Love it a lot. So there's the music. I think that in the low frequency I would take this. It's got a slightly warmer tilt to it, but the resolving ability is absolutely on par with the Utopia. The mid frequencies are really, if that's where the vocals are going wrong, but it sounds to me like, we go out to freedom, freedom, keep my visions to myself. I think that's what she's saying right there at the beginning. That E gets on me, and the Gimmie Shelter gets on me too, and that's kind of transferring and getting up into the gain and into the treble, and maybe higher than that. So I might take those tracks and chop it up and find out where it is, but I'm not going to go ahead and do that for this video. So I would say that I think that the Utopia is a great set of headphones. I'm being polite. I don't know why. Maybe just do it anyway. If people really like this and they think it's worth it, the money, enjoy your life, man. Like, library's different, ears are different, listening volume's different, all the variables are going in the other direction. For this listener and this reviewer, I would recommend the Clear over the Utopia. I think it's a very, very good set. I like it a lot. And I'm stuck because I told my Patreons, yeah, we're going to do this one, and now I'm sitting here thinking, what am I going to do? Buy that again? So I'm going to have to do that, or grab the new clear because there's a new one, or another Focal. So it's like a kid in a candy store, but I'm happy for that because that's not stupid crazy in the prices. So that's the Utopia. It's absolutely gorgeous. It sounds good. I'm nitpicking, but I'm supposed to do that because I'm a reviewer, and I gotta find, if I just sit here and say it's fucking awesome, the bass, it's awesome, the mids, oh my god, blow your mind, the treble, it's like, and then give you some fucking description that makes no sense, has nothing to do with audio. So I'll skip all that stuff for you. I like it. I'll be moving on from it and then financing other Focal purchases with the funds that I get from it. Somebody in my Patreon is going to get that, and I'm gonna have to do it again. Fuck. What? So that's it. That's the Focal Utopia. There's be an unbox that'll be pinned right after this. You can go ahead and take a look at that. The spectrogram, if you really like that, that'll be always in the IMs because I'll get that. I've got to get my feet wet and get them underneath me solidly before I start to say with confidence that this is, and then what I say usually with IMs, like this is kick-ass. The Unique Melody MEST customs are fucking amazing, and I can wreck them without question. I can look at a graph and point to you where the special sauce is likely laying because of the bone conduction driver, because if that is not actually doing anything, then this is by far the greatest tribrid that's ever been built, but I can't possibly think that. So the BC is doing something in the treble. It's making it non-fatiguing, but I'll get away from that. So the headphones is not there for me yet, but here I am getting experience right in front of you live. So enjoy. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I will tack in the, hey, what, did you see that little, yeah, at the beginning, the like close-up zoom thing with the bass drop? It's not just velour stuff, but come on, holler at your boy. I'm out. Okay, this is the unboxing portion for the Focal Utopia. You might be seeing out over there, and that's the Focal Clear, because I'm going to put them side by side. Comes in a fairly large case. It's not actually that heavy. It's just got the headphones inside. Open it up this way. It says Utopia right there. Lift it up and you've got sound reflective foam. Don't know why. Looks cool though. I don't know if it's actually protecting anything, but it's a nice design. You have a cable that is it's basically got a stereo plug. I use this on my RME ADI 2 DAC. It's fine to drive this Utopia. That's not really that hard to drive. Off of that was no problem. Unlike the Hi-Fi Man, that one and also the Susvara, they need a nuclear reactor pretty much. I wonder if when this first came out, people were like, man, why is it using that termination? Maybe nowadays there's lots of people that make aftermarket versions for this. This cable quality is at best okay. It's not that great, really, but I would no doubt get another cable anyway. But that's the cable that comes with it, so it's got a proprietary, I guess, connection. I'm not familiar with that particular one. The set itself is gorgeous. It really is. The way it sits, I took a picture of it laying like this, and it sits like a nice motorcycle. I don't know if you know what I mean. It looks balanced. On the head, right side, left side. These are not maybe designed for really large heads. I have an average size head, and I got to put this down almost all the way as far as the clicks go. Almost all the way. That was probably the case with the Clear, but I didn't notice it because it didn't cost as much as this, so I'm putting this under a more stringent microscope. So that's how it sits on my head. One thing that I'll notice immediately is that while the up-down part fits me fine, there's no movement this way with the cups, and my cheekbone right under the corner of my eye and going down to my cheek, there's a little bit of a gap. If I rotate the headphones slightly forward, it can compensate, or slightly back, but as it sits straight up, there's no movement going this way. So be aware of that, and check online to see if anybody's ever had any fit or lack of ability to get a seal, because it's close to that but not quite. Looking at this, And looking at my current favorite dynamic drivers, the clear, I can't state enough how great this set in my right hand is. It's very, very good. It looks like they made the same cups in the factory and are changing the color. You can see the back of the driver. It's fully open back on this one, which is aluminum magnesium, and this is an all beryllium. And they both got open breathe, and you can see the back of the diaphragm, and it's all open back on the outside. If I hold this up and look at it, you can see the colors coming through, wide open. Same thing on this set. It's very similar design. They changed color, grill, and the material on the driver. The screen that goes over the drivers looks pretty much identical. This set had a, not that side. It's not going to break or anything. It's just concerned me a little, but not enough to not wreck it. And this one, let me put it in a similar position. It's not really doing that. Does this stuff matter? You damn right it does to some people for $3 grand, $4 grand. Not really. So it's lacking a little in adjustability to seal on your front cheek. Check reviews. There's got to be a lot out there, and they might mention that. Not a deal breaker, something to pay attention to. Go ahead and put this back in there. Little pro tip before we leave. This is going to be put on the end of my review video. This is like a decibel meter, and when you're doing reviews for headphones, I'm learning. With IEMs, it's a different animal. So long as the source is compatible with both of the headphones that you're comparing, because the impedance can be different and you're going to get different volume, stick this into the cup, use a test tone, and make sure that you're getting the same amount of output from both drivers. And then you are, even A-B comparisons are really kind of questionable, but it's about the best some people can do. Human condition. But for me and my focus, and I get a little bit over focused sometimes, these are playing at exactly the same volume output is very important, because if I'm listening for how a cymbal strike sounds, I want to make sure that I'm giving both of these drivers the exact same chance. And since they're made pretty much the same and they've got the same grill, it's very easy to do so. Use a test tone. What is that? 76.8. Get this to that, and these actually don't output the same. This was taking a little bit more, I believe. And proceed. And then at least you're doing the same thing. As you're removing a variable, which is if I'm listening to this and I'm turning it up a little bit to try to match it by ear with what I was listening to that 2 seconds ago, that's not nearly as efficient as taking this, listening to a test tone, boom, boom, do it with both, and then at least that search for the cymbal and the life, the birth, the life and death of the cymbal it's on equal footing, and you can therefore make a comparison. And if somebody says, what were you driving these? Did you volume match them? You can always say, yeah, same volume, dude, and then remove that variable for you and also for people out there that are watching your review. So kind of a pro tip. I'm not a pro, but I'll give a pro tip anyway. So that is the Utopia. That's how it looks. This is the box that it comes in. And I think I held them side by side. They're both very, very beautiful. And I'll go ahead and stop this, and I'm going to pin it at the end of my review. And I'm out. Am I out? Yeah, I got a lot of stuff to talk about, but I won't do it right now. And I'm out.